A distracted driving law is now being enforced in Massachusetts. The Bay State is the last state in New England to get this done, but efforts have long been underway. Concerns about potential racial profiling was among the concepts debated along the way. State Representative Joe Wagner of the 8th Hampden District first filed a bill on this in 2003. I asked him how the idea was received then.
Well, obviously not as well as it has been more recently, but I began to see at that point, and the reason for my filing it, more and more people were using cell phones, or by definition in the bill, electronic mobile devices, to communicate while driving. It seemed inconsistent and counterintuitive to me that if the goal of someone operating a vehicle was to do it safely, I just thought that was a pretty significant distraction, and it's the #1 public safety danger on the roadway, in my opinion. And if you talk to chiefs of police and law enforcement officials, they would agree with that.
If you look across New England, Massachusetts is the last state to get this done. Why was there so much tension, back and forth, or on the other end, time taken to go into the bill?
The House twice passed a hands-free measure as part of transportation bills, and both times with significant votes. And then support for it seemed to ebb in the House, and then the Senate took up the cause, and the Senate in 3 consecutive sessions passed it. And it's all about votes. Do you have the votes to do it? One of the significant issues that became an impediment, even as we tried to do it most recently, was how we collect data, how we catalog data, who has access to that data. And in this period when we see it every day, we see it in our elections, we see it play out in the news, issues relating to cyber breaches and people's identities being used and taken, those were serious concerns, particularly by communities of color.
Yeah, specifically concerns about racial profiling.
Sure.
And when you look at specifics of it, the House version of the bill, when this was being hashed out, was going to track only stops ending in citations, and that raw data wouldn't be available to the public. And then the Senate bill looked at recording demographic data at every stop and making that publicly accessible. How was that finally resolved?
So you just hit on 2 major points. If I could go back to 1 point from each of those bills that you just hit on. In the House bill, we were concerned, and the bill we put out spoke to it, we were concerned that people's identities would not be protected. So we had to resolve data collection with respect to privacy and to what population it would apply to. And so what we did ultimately, we encrypt the data, we do it categorically, we have stops from 12 a.m. to 6 a.m., from 6:01 a.m. to noon, and so in 6-hour increments to make sure that you couldn't zero in on any particular driver. So,
but do you think that it gets at that concern that people had about potential racial profiling?
Oh, I do. I think we built in all kinds of safeguards around which there was broad agreement of across both the House and Senate on that issue. We collect age and gender and the reason for the stop, but we encrypt the data so as to protect people's identities and address the issue that you just raised. On the all stop, I think it's important to talk about how we did that too. If a determination is made that a community may have engaged in profiling, and we'll leave it to experts to determine that, the Executive Office of Public Safety specifically and the Secretary of that office, if we, in their view, a community has engaged in profiling, then all stops will be recorded, even those that don't result in the issue of a uniform citation. So that we had been in different places. We closed that gap by saying if it appears there may be profiling, we'll apply it for a period of 1 year. There'll be an education component for the law enforcement in that community, and that could apply to state agencies as well as state police, for example.
I want to look at a few of the specifics and just tick them off for folks at home because
Sure.
it is so new. So drivers can activate the hands-free portion with a single tap or a swipe. You do get that one sort of touch there. It needs to be mounted if you're using GPS for your navigation instead
Correct.
of like an
That's
onboard
correct.
system in your vehicle. You cannot use devices when you're stopped at red lights or stuck in traffic. And I think that one needs to be highlighted because people do that all the time. I've been guilty of it of myself in the past. You think I'm stopped, I'm safe, it's okay here. State law now says no. And anyone 18 or under, you cannot be using your phone in any capacity while driving.
Correct.
Do you think that that goes far enough to cover concerns that families loved ones have been killed in distracted driving crashes have raised?
Well, I think if you were to ask some of the people whose lives have been changed, immeasurably by the kinds of horrific tragedies that you just alluded to, I think they would agree that this moves the ball significantly down the field. The key is going to be enforcement. And on the day that we did the bill signing, I said it took a long time, but we got to a really good place. And it's a really good law and a really good piece of legislation, even for as long as it took us to get there. I said our job now is to pivot to enforcement.